Well, my friends, welcome back to Spot On with Link Lauren. Happy Monday. Happy Columbus Day. Are we allowed to say that now? Are we going to get canceled? Is the camera still on? If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. We cover politics, news, culture, the Royals. We love to have a good time. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. You're welcome to be here as long as you have a sense of humor and you don't take things too seriously, okay? Have a sense of humor. I got home last night. I was traveling over the weekend. I went to go speak in Dallas at the Log Cabin Republican Gala. I was so grateful to go speak. I think it's important to have voices in the culture that are common sense, right? There's so many gay men in media, especially on the left, who are into the pronouns and the woke nonsense. That is not me. And so I'm going to make it to as many of these events as I can. I've been getting invited to speak more and more. The next few months are crazy, but I'll be back in Dallas. We'll be back in Dallas with Megyn Kelly and Glenn Beck on October 25th. So get your tickets for that. It's a big arena show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be unfiltered. But I'm so grateful that the Log Cabin Republicans invited me to come speak. And thank you to everyone who put on this event. And one thing y'all know about me, if you haven't seen any of my speeches or if you're new here, if you invite me to come speak, I'm going to get on stage and let it rip. Okay, we're going to have some serious discussion. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to torch the joint and then I'm going to get off stage and collect the check. So I'm very, very, very grateful to be invited to speak. But we have to start off the show by talking about not just the most important news of the day, the most important news of the year, this decade, maybe the last 100 years, right? We haven't seen a president bring peace to the Middle East like this in American history. I want to start off by saying thank you to President Trump, Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, Jared Kushner, the entire team who worked to free these hostages. Now, it's bittersweet for me. I was articulating this on social media earlier. It's bittersweet for me. I'm so happy these hostages are freed. They're reunited with their families, but there's so many hostages who will never come home or who will not come home alive. And I don't even want to think about the barbarism and the treatment that they suffered and they endured for over 2 years at this point, just over 2 years. But thank you to President Trump and the entire team for the past 10 years. Since President Trump got into presidential politics, he was called a Nazi, fascist, Hitler. And what has he done? He has worked to bring peace around the world and end these wars. Very seldom in history do they call the guy who is freeing the Israeli hostages a Nazi, a fascist, a Hitler. But those critics today are very quiet. They are silent. This is something Joe Biden could not do, Kamala Harris could not do, Antony Blinken, Jake Sullivan. Nobody in the Biden administration could get this done. In fact, they sat there twiddling their thumbs. They had no power, no strength on the world stage. So say what you want about President Trump. You don't have to love President Trump. You don't have to like him. That's your right. I know there are folks tuning in who did not vote for him. But he is the only person who has this unique ability to bend the world at his will and get shit done. So I'm very grateful the hostages are coming home. Something a lot of folks aren't speaking about is that it's going to be a process and a journey for these hostages to reintegrate into society. They're going to need therapy, treatment, physical rehabilitation, trauma therapy, all of these things to reintegrate into society and for their families to be okay with them again. So I'm very, very, very grateful and I pray for them in that journey. Now, while President Trump is securing peace deals around the world and freeing hostages, for some reason, Meghan Markle is the one collecting humanitarian awards. You can't make this up. She's collecting humanitarian awards when she has done nothing. Okay, these awards are probably pay to play. Let me read you what's been going on with these two little hucksters from Montecito, the Duke and Duchess of Scamalot. I mean, this is just how crazy the liberal media is, right? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are collecting humanitarian awards, and President Trump is the one freeing hostages and bringing peace to the Middle East. I find the irony of that insane, okay? So they collected the Humanitarians of the Year award at the Project Healthy Minds Gala in New York City. This is one of many awards they've been collecting for doing nothing. Now, they're being awarded for racial justice, gender equity, mental wellness, and safer online spaces. Now, none of those terms really mean much of anything, right? It's like that Harvard drag queen, the drag queen they hired at Harvard, who's gonna teach queer ethnography. These are just a bunch of liberal gobbledygook BS made up terms, okay? Meghan Markle, she wants to talk about racial justice. She didn't even want to admit she was Black until she had to. Her own agent in Hollywood thought she was white. On her headshots, allegedly, in her resume, she said she was white. Now she's collecting awards for racial justice. Gender equity, I have never really seen her uplift women. In fact, I've seen her stab women in the back. She did sit-down interviews where she basically called the entire royal family racist with no evidence, and then we found out that wasn't true. So in the Queen's dying days, she was kicking up dirt. She wasn't very nice to Catherine. They wrote about their personal fights and arguments in a book. They did a Netflix docuseries tell-all reality show. And she wants to talk about mental wellness and safer online spaces. I call a flag on the play. I don't know what that means, but it's a sports term. So one thing that I also find really interesting is that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they also won an NAACP Image Award, right? They won an Image Award for furthering the Black community and being leaders in the Black community. But when you look at a picture of Harry and Meghan up on stage collecting the award, there's only 25% Black up there. They might as well give me the award. That's like me winning an NAACP award, right? These two are little hucksters. They don't deserve any awards. But here's what happens. These award shows and these ceremonies, they will just make up awards sometimes to get celebrities to show up. They'll be like, we're going to give you the Humanitarian of the Year award because they want to hang out with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for the night, because they want them to come and bring some attention to their event, some attention to their gala. But I'm here to tell you, in the United States of America, very few people give a rat's ass about these two anymore. They're at the bottom of the barrel scraping. And after Meghan Markle's little stunt, rolling around Paris at night doing a tour of where Princess Diana died in a fatal car crash in the 90s, people are really done with her. People are really done with her. It's also interesting that she's winning these humanitarian awards because I put this down in my notes. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this. Meghan Markle, in my opinion, she is the bully. You can actually see Meghan Markle's face drop sometimes when she's on a red carpet, when she's talking, when she feels miffed. She, to me, seems like the bully. Even when you watch With Love Meghan, her reality show where she moves pretzels from one bag into another, she seems like a bully, right? She wants everybody to do what she wants, when she wants. If they even interject or talk over her, she has this sourpuss look on her face. So for her to be winning all of these humanitarian awards, I just find so silly, but they just look like two little hucksters. They're going around collecting awards that have no meaning whatsoever. They're showing up, they're collecting a humanitarian award. What have they done? They don't even really leave their mansion in Montecito. They didn't want to do the work of, being in the royal family and serving the Commonwealth, 2 billion people. They didn't want to do the philanthropic efforts, even go to the ribbon cuttings. So for these two to go around collecting awards, I just find it to be a bunch of BS. But that's who Harry and Meghan are, right? They're two little jokes at this point. I don't think they'll be around 5 years from now. I don't even think we'll be discussing them because their fan base is getting smaller and smaller every single day. Well, Miss Kamala Harris is back. We have another installment of Kamala Harris is drunk again, allegedly. So we got to discuss this because another clip of Kamala Harris has gone viral from her book tour. As I've said many times, the book tour is going longer than the campaign. The campaign was 107 days. This book tour is going on and on and on. And Kamala Harris, in my opinion, she seems inebriated. Okay, maybe the sequel to 107 Days could be 12 Steps, right? That could be the sequel book. She can do 12 Steps next, okay? And if that joke offended you, call your sponsor. I don't care. Kamala Harris, she does not seem well. Okay, I think they should be clearing out the mini bar in the hotel. They should not have any alcohol around her because she is getting on stage, slurring, her eyes are rolling back. I want to take a look at this clip and you guys tell me what you think. Is this someone you think should be in charge of the nuclear codes? Let's roll it.
I'm not president. And if you want to talk about legacy, let's talk about the legacy of mass deportation of people not voting and Donald Trump.
So she is on stage going, you want to talk about the legacy? She sounds like Anna Nicole Smith. Anna Nicole Kamala. It's Anna Nicole Kamala. That's her new nickname. Anna Nicole Kamala is on stage. You want to talk about the legacy? Kamala, sweetheart, get help, okay? If Doug loved you, he would be stepping in. If you had children who loved you, oh, you don't have any, but if you had children who loved you, they would be stepping in and saying, sweetheart, Mamacita, Mama Kamala, go get some help, baby. Go dry out. Because you were on stage sounding like this. I want to talk about mass deportation. Yes, we do want to talk about mass deportations. In fact, part of the reason nobody wanted to vote for you is because the border was wide open with an invasion, you dumb. Sorry, I'm not going to say that. My mom's Bible study is watching. But Kamala Harris, part of the reason you lost is because you weren't in favor of mass deportations. In fact, even in the New York Times, There's a New York Times Ipsos poll, 60% of Americans supported mass deportations, right? It's hard to get 60% of Americans to agree on much, okay, to agree on anything. I can't get 60% of my relatives to agree on something, okay? So 60% of Americans support mass deportations, but Kamala Harris, she's on stage upset over mass deportations. But Kamala Harris, I will take her seriously when she can pass a breathalyzer. I also don't understand when it comes to Kamala Harris, people are going to this book tour because they want to learn something from her. They want to hear from her. Who wants to go hear from the loser who lost the popular vote, every single swing state, and also blew $20 million on her campaign? Okay, she's $20 million in the hole. She blew all that money. And she's normally better at blowing things, but nonetheless, Kamala Harris, she blew 20 million. She's still in the hole. She's out doing this book tour. She's slurring. She sounds like a drunk wench. Okay. And people are going and listening to her. If you're going to Kamala Harris's book tour because you want to glean some wisdom, you want to go glean some knowledge, good for you. You need to do some soul searching. But someone else who popped up on Kamala Harris's book tour is none other than the killster, Hillary Clinton. Let's take a look at that clip.
Hello, Kamala. Well, I know that you're on stage with Kara Swisher, and I want to know this. I debated Trump 3 times. You debated him once. He wouldn't debate you again. We beat him 4 times. Do you think we're the reason he is so unhinged today?
We have in this president the most, not one of, the most callous, corrupt, and incompetent individuals that has ever occupied that White House. And unhinged is the least of the concerns that I have, but it ranks right up there.
So when I see Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris licking their wounds, looking in the rearview mirror saying, we beat him 4 times in a debate, number one, that's not true. If you guys had won the debate, maybe you guys would have won the presidency and both of you were sent packing home. But the thing about Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, they probably think that they were judged unfairly because they were women, right? They think, oh my God, we are women. We had an uphill battle. Trump can get away with things because he's a man. No, I'm here to tell you, nobody was not voting for y'all because of your gender, because of your skin color, your religion, or anything. It's because you guys were incompetent and you also did not connect with the American people. Hillary Clinton, she'd been around for decades. People still felt like they couldn't trust her. They felt like they didn't know her, right? You have decades and decades to introduce yourself. People don't know you. Kamala Harris, she says, 107 days wasn't enough time to introduce myself to the American people. You were vice president. You ran for president before. You were senator, attorney general. If people don't know you by now, what have you been doing? I think what they don't want to admit is that people do know you and they don't like you. They saw your policies, they saw what you did, and they saw, more importantly, what you did not do, Kamala, because you sat there for 4 years and you did jack shit. Okay, excuse my French. You did jack shit as vice president. You did nothing, okay? You were put in charge of the border January of 2021. I think you went down to the border for 10 minutes. Okay, that's a quickie. Okay, we know Kamala Harris likes a quickie, but she was down at the border doing a quickie. Now, this last clip I want to play you. Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona thinks it would be incredible if Kamala Harris ran for president again.
Do you think that Kamala Harris would be a strong candidate in 2028?
Candidate, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, she was the nominee last time. I think
you would encourage her to run.
I think she would be incredibly strong. I think you're going to have, a dozen, if not more, folks running.
I could not agree more with Mark Kelly. Kamala Harris, if you're watching this, if you're sitting at home having your 3rd martini of the morning watching this podcast, I wanted to tell you, please run again. You are an incredible, singular talent that we've never seen before in American politics. You are a once-in-a-generation political behemoth, Kamala. If you do not run again for the presidency, it would be a miscarriage of justice. So Kamala Harris, please run. And don't listen to the people around you. Don't listen to any advisors. Don't change a thing, Kamala. You are perfect the way you are. You are perfect in God's image and the way you were created. Please don't change a thing, and please run in 2028. That is my message to Kamala Harris, okay? Please run in 2028, because America, if they didn't want a drunk wine mom last time, something tells me they're not going to want it in 2028. My last message to Kamala Harris is this, right? Number 1, get help, stop drinking. Number 3, you need to get your suits fitted a little bit better. Okay, those suits, they don't fit, they look bad, they look slovenly. You want to be taken seriously, right? as this real power woman, right? So go get suits that fit, that make you look flattering. Okay, you say you're held to a higher standard because you're a woman. Okay, fine. People are going to judge you on your hair, the way you look. People sitting here watching me might judge me on my hair and the way I look in this fabulous tie. But nonetheless, I would go get the look together if I were you, Kamala Harris. A while back, I was tossing and turning all night, barely sleeping and dragging through my days. That's when I found Beam's Dream Powder. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who share our values: hard work, integrity, and delivering results. It's a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed. Dream's mix of ingredients helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up sharp. No grogginess. It's American-made, no junk, just results. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate discount of up to 40% off. Try their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/link and use code LINK at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/link and use code LINK for 40% off. Now, another ridiculous moment that has gone viral over the weekend that I wanted to talk about this morning is Kris Jenner, right? I've been talking about this for months. Kris Jenner's plastic surgeon deserves a raise. Kris Jenner's plastic surgeon, give him the Humanitarian of the Year award, okay? Don't give it to Meghan Markle. Give it to Kris Jenner's plastic surgeon because he has done wonders. And Kris Jenner, she's unveiled this new look that's gone viral over the weekend. She's now blonde. She's pulled all the way up to high heaven. She looks like a completely different person. And I just wanted to say, if you add up all the money the Kardashians have spent on plastic surgery, you could probably pay down the national debt. Okay, it's probably the GDP of a small nation if you add up everything the Kardashians have spent on plastic surgery. But Kris Jenner, she's going viral for unveiling this new look. And what I find so interesting is she's getting a lot of hate, right? And we all know the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. I would be the first to criticize Kris Jenner, but this woman, she has sat there and supported all of her daughters with their rapper boyfriends and Kanye West. Her husband turned into a woman. If she wants to go get a new face and new hair and do a 180 in her life, let her go do it. You know what I'm saying? If you wake up and your husband decides to be a woman and your daughters marry these ne'er-do-well rappers who are in and out of mental institutions, you might want to get a new hairdo as well. So Kris Jenner, she unveiled this new blonde hairdo. Unlike Joy Reid, it actually works on her. Unlike Joy Reid from MSNBC, the hairstyle actually works on her. And what I'll also say is that you are the company you keep in life sometimes. And so Kris Jenner, she's been hanging out a lot with Lauren Sanchez and some of these other women. Lauren Sanchez, we talked on the last episode. In my opinion, she's had a lot of plastic surgery, and I'm not hating on her. I'm not hating on her. If you're married to a guy who's got hundreds of billions of dollars, what's a couple of nips and tucks and, you know, going under the knife here and there? But your friend group and who you hang out with is going to rub off on you, right? So if you hang out with women who are normal, women who have their feet planted on the ground, who touch grass regularly, then that's how you're going to end up. If you're in this Hollywood world hanging out with Lauren Sanchez and these wealthy billionaires, you're going to think it's totally normal to go in under the knife and come out with a new face. But I'm not even hating on it because, like I said, she has sat there and watched her daughters go through BBLs, getting their butts done, their boobs done, marrying these loser guys, okay, rappers and basketball players who end up doing drugs and cheating on them and getting other women pregnant. At 70 years old, if Kris Jenner wants to get a new face, let her get a new face. Now, the last plastic surgery case we have to discuss is none other than Kathy Griffin. Now, Kathy Griffin, she used to be funny. Remember before Kathy Griffin went woke and before Trump derangement syndrome got to her, she was actually a funny person, right? She could take a joke. She was off color. She was cutting. This is what happens, okay, when hatred for Trump becomes your entire personality. Kathy Griffin. And clearly there's something wrong with Kathy Griffin because the way she came out looking from this plastic surgery, I've never seen someone resemble Chucky closer than Kathy Griffin. And I'm not even going to apologize for saying that right now because some of her friends need to step in, okay? Some of these Hollywood celebrities, they have body dysmorphia. They can't see themselves for how they actually are. They think maybe having plastic surgery is going to give them a resurgence in their career. It's going to bring them back up. Kathy Griffin, she doesn't look great. She also went on TV and she spoke about her plastic surgery. Let's take a look at that clip.
I got my third facelift, right. And I thought, new face, new tour. I think it's so funny, some of these folks, men and women, who've obviously had work done, but then they say, oh, I went to a spa for a week, or they come up with some excuse. I've been catching up on sleep.
Drinking water.
Green juice, green celery juice, celery juice.
Let's be real here.
I'm like, I saw you in the elevator of the recovery place, honey. Relax.
How painful was the whole process, if you don't mind me asking?
It's painful.
Yeah.
And when people say it isn't, they're lying.
Yeah.
I mean, they yanked my face. And I said, give me a good yank. I go, doctor, I don't want to see you in 6 months.
Right.
Give me a good, get in there and just start pulling.
Just go for
yanking.
My issue with Kathy Griffin is also this. You can yank and pull your face and come out looking like a whole new person. You don't look better, but you look like a new person. However, you got to do the work on your soul, right? You can change the exterior. You can change the outside. You can change your cheeks, your chin, your nose, your eyebrows, your forehead, everything. But you are still an evil person on the inside, Kathy Griffin, in my opinion, and you're someone who really needs help, because I will still not forgive Kathy Griffin for holding up the severed head of President Trump. Does anyone remember this controversy? She held up a bloody, severed head of President Trump at a time when people were being beheaded around the globe, where heads were rolling into markets around the globe. She did that. President Trump's young children and grandchildren had to witness that. They don't know what's real and what's not. When you're 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, you see something on the news, is that daddy? So shame on you, Kathy Griffin. Shame on you. You're disgusting. You can go get all the plastic surgery you want. You can go under the knife 10,000 more times. In fact, you lose brain cells apparently every time you go under the knife. So that could explain a lot. But Kathy Griffin, you can go under the knife 1,000,000 more times. You're still broken on the inside and you're still hurting. Now, last week, I was on the Megyn Kelly show, and someone we talked about was Katie Porter, who is running for governor of California. She went viral for this horrific interview, right? She said she didn't want to have a bad time. She said she was going to get up and walk out of the interview. She said she's never experienced this before. And all that happened in the interview is she was asked some basic questions. She was asked basic questions in the interview, but when you're an elite Democrat, especially from California, you're not used to anybody pressing you on anything. In fact, you're used to them being like, what kind of ice cream do you like? What do you like to do in your free time? What shows are you watching? And Katie Porter went absolutely viral. She has become this huge supervillain in the media. And one thing I have to say is this: y'all will never make me hate Katie Porter, okay? I have become a Katie Porter truther, Katie Porter stan, fan. I will ride for Katie Porter till the end of the time because she is what I want out of my elite liberal politicians, okay? She's not very good looking. Okay, she's a slob. She's got this Helga Oktoberfest haircut. She's a deranged egomaniac liberal, okay? And then I found out, according to this New York Post headline, that she dumped a steaming, scalding bowl of potatoes on her husband's head. That is cinema. That's cinema. That's like something out of an A24 film. It's out of a horror movie, okay? So y'all aren't gonna make me hate Katie Porter. I wanna know more about her. Okay, I want to go get coffee with Katie Porter. Okay, I want to go have a good time with Katie Porter. I want to learn everything there is about Katie Porter. I think she should be governor of California. Okay, you can't be worse than Gavin Newsom. Let her go be the governor of California. She might have, okay, from the way she looks, she might have bigger balls than Gavin Newsom. She might have bigger balls than Gavin Newsom. But I want to take a look at this clip we uncovered of her yelling at her staff. Her staff has been leaking these clips of her where she looks terrible. I want to take a look at her screaming at her staff to get out of her effing shot.
And other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot.
I will never hate Katie Porter. Okay, this is a woman after my own heart. Don't come into my shot when we're filming. Okay, if we are filming, stay out of my effing shot. Okay, at least she's honest. At least she's brutally honest. There was another clip, and we won't bore you with it. Maybe we'll just put a screenshot up on the screen. There was another clip where she was trying to do an interview, and they had horrible fluorescent overhead lighting, and she's just having a meltdown. She's having a meltdown because there's bad lighting. There are people in her shot. You know what? Life of a showgirl. Life of a frickin' showgirl. What would T Swift do if there's bad lighting? If you're in my shot, I'm going to become a fire-breathing drag. So Katie Porter, I am your #1 fan. Okay, if you have no fans, it means there's nobody left on earth, because I am going to be the leader of the Katie Porter fan club. I want to know more about her. I think she should do more interviews. I think she should just have a meltdown every single day and own it. There was also a clip of Katie Porter, we'll put up on the screen, where she's running around the halls of Congress in a Batman costume. I mean, this woman, her lore and her backstory is unmatched. Her policies are terrible. She's a despicable, disgusting person, but she's like the perfect villain. She could maybe play the Penguin in like one of those DC comic films. You know what I'm saying? She's almost like a villain that Batman would encounter on the streets of Gotham. That's who Katie Porter is, actually. Katie Porter, okay? And I think she's the real villain in Katie Porter's life is her staff and her gay interns who let her go out on camera looking the way she looks with the Helga Oktoberfest haircut. But I will wrap by saying, Katie Porter, we love you. We want to see more of you. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to change. But someone who should change, there's someone who should change. That's Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney, you might remember Dylan Mulvaney from the Bud Light scandal and the Bud Light controversy. Well, Dylan Mulvaney went viral over the weekend for dressing up as Jesus. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, it's Jesus, here to tell you that you should buy tickets to the least problematic woman in the world, starring one of my dad's favorites, Dylan Mulvaney. Trans people are cool, we should all support them, especially Dylan, because tickets are like under $100 right now, and it's a great deal if you ask me. Okay, we'll catch up later. See you later. Bye.
This is not only sacrilegious, it's blasphemous, it's ridiculous. Dylan Mulvaney really is spiraling. And let me tell you why Dylan Mulvaney is spiraling, in my opinion. When you're used to getting a massive volume of attention, even if it's negative attention, right? You have people coming at you, they're hating on you, but you're getting millions of views. The second that stops, the second you come crashing down to earth and people aren't tuning in anymore, you become more desperate. And that's what we're seeing with Dylan Mulvaney. These folks become more desperate for attention over time. But how come Christianity, how come Jesus, right, is the butt of your joke, right? You're a transgender woman. You are a guy dressing up as a girl who's now dressing up as Jesus. How come that's the butt of your joke, right? If we mock Islam, we could get canceled. Okay, if we mock Islam, we could get canceled. Dylan Mulvaney, he's allowed to mock Jesus. If we say anything critical about trans people, you could get fired, ostracized from your group of friends. But Dylan Mulvaney can mock Jesus, right? That's where we are in the culture, that people find this funny and interesting. And it's because there's this war on faith, family, and common sense values happening in this country right now. And Dylan Mulvaney is a severe narcissist who's becoming more desperate. You heard in the clip, people aren't tuning into the one-woman show. Okay, because you're not a woman. Sorry, you're not a woman. Now you're dressing up as Jesus to try and hawk tickets for your one-woman show. And I will pray for Dylan Mulvaney because I think he is someone who needs Jesus. I think he's someone who could use a higher power in his life. He could use something to ground him, right? Doesn't have to be my religion, your religion, but clearly Dylan Mulvaney is grasping. Dylan Mulvaney is grasping at straws. He's grasping at something. He's grasping at something for relevance. And I think Dylan Mulvaney really does need help. And I think he doesn't have people in his life to step in because he probably has a bunch of LGBTQIA R2D2 plus friends around him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a lot of common sense people. So Dylan Mulvaney, as much as I want to make jokes and just scream at you and yell at you, I think you need help. Okay, I think you need help, Dylan Mulvaney. Stop mocking Jesus. I can't even imagine what your karma is now. And there's a reason you're getting backlash for that video. And there's a reason nobody wants to come see your one-woman show. Let's talk about Peak, a luxury brand transforming wellness with the absolute best. Rare and precious plants, cutting-edge ingredients, and formulations rooted in traditional wisdom. Their science-backed botanicals, minerals, and supplements support sustained energy, metabolic function, immune health, and radiant skin. Peak is proud to introduce Sun Goddess Matcha, an organic ceremonial superfood blend that redefines your daily routine. Crafted from the purest tea leaves, it provides a smooth, sustained energy for a calm mind and a radiant glow. The nutrients in their matcha can help curb sugar and hunger cravings, making it easier to stick to your wellness goals. This ceremonial grade matcha is 100% organic and grown in a pristine valley, ensuring you get the cleanest, purest cup every time. Peak picks me up when I'm feeling under the weather, especially with the seasons changing. Unlock your healthiest glow and feel the difference. Get up to 20% off for life, a complimentary gift, and explore Peak's clean, pure ingredient wellness rituals at peaklife.com/link. That's PIQUE life.com/link. Well, last but not least, I have to talk about the story surrounding Selena Gomez. So Selena Gomez, she got married. She had this big star-studded wedding. I think Ed Sheeran was there. Taylor Swift was there. One person who wasn't at the wedding was Selena Gomez's old friend who gave her a kidney. Okay, so Selena Gomez a few years ago, she had some illness where she needed a kidney. We're not exactly sure why. This is during that era where all the celebrities were coming up with, autoimmune disorders and diseases, but she's made a quick recovery now. So Selena Gomez, she apparently needed a kidney. Her friend was a donor and was a match. This friend was not invited to the wedding. Now, since 2022, there have been rumors that they have had a falling out, allegedly. And let me just tell you this, okay? If I give a friend a kidney and we stop being friends, I'm going to want my kidney back. The same way I want my vinyl records back. I want my clothes back. I want everything back, okay? I want the money from the trip we took on spring break vacation to go to Puerto Vallarta. I want my freaking kidney back, okay? So first off, that's number one. Number two, I don't see myself ever giving a kidney to a friend. I'm not that good of a friend. Don't call me. I don't care if we're 100% match and you're please give me a kidney. There is nothing in the friendship directory rule guidebook that says I have to give you a bodily organ of mine, especially then to not get invited to the wedding. You know who was at the wedding? That kidney. So even though the friend wasn't at the wedding, the kidney was at the wedding. So Selena Gomez's friend, though, she's not completely denying the rumors. The friend, I think, is named Francia Reza. Okay, Francia Reza. The friend is not totally denying the rumors. What she's basically saying is, you're asking me about rumors. No one knows what's going on, and neither she nor I are talking about it. One day, maybe we will address it. This to me is not a friendly quote, okay? I'm media literate enough to know that is not a friendly quote, okay? She's not at the wedding and she gave you a kidney. Shame on you, Selena Gomez. I don't care what the friend did. Okay, the friend could sleep with your boyfriend. The friend could key your car. She could forget your birthday. But if she gave you a kidney, she should be invited to the wedding. Okay, y'all drop a comment and tell me what you think. If you give a kidney to a friend, don't you think you're a shoo-in to go to the wedding? And you shouldn't have to be a bridesmaid because that's annoying, right? So you should be off the hook for the bridesmaid, but you should still be invited to the wedding. You should have a good seat on the first few rows. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they send a car for you. But yeah, no, I couldn't imagine giving a kidney to someone and then having a falling out. But that's just how I am. Like, I don't even like friends to stay at my house after 3 days, so I couldn't imagine giving them a kidney. But maybe this shows who Selena Gomez really is, right? She takes a kidney from her friend, then she has a falling out with her, then she doesn't invite her to the wedding. That's who Selena Gomez is. I mean, me personally, if I loan my friends Tupperware, I want it back. I want it rinsed. I want it cleaned. I want it returned. You can leave it on the front porch. I'm petty. I'm one of the pettiest people you will ever meet. Okay, so I couldn't imagine giving a kidney to someone and then having a falling out with them. Okay, so apparently these people are out here giving each other kidneys. Selena Gomez, my message to Selena Gomez, you got to make this right. Okay, if this chick gave you a kidney from her body because you said you needed it, allegedly, you got to make this right. You got to call this friend and be the bigger person. You are the rich, famous celebrity. Okay, the onus is on you. You're the one with the kidney. The onus is on you to call and make things right with the friend, because this is gross. This is disgusting. This is not a good look. This is not a good look that we're here at the Spot On Bureau discussing the fact that you did not invite your friend who gave you a kidney to your wedding. You had Taylor Swift, you had Ed Sheeran, you had all these celebrities, but not the friend who gave you a kidney. Well, y'all know I'm back to tell you about Vandy Crisp. These are the only chips I eat. I don't do Lay's. I don't do other potato chips. And let me tell you why I love Vandy Crisps. If this is your first time tuning in to Spot On, Vandy Crisp has just 3 ingredients: heirloom potatoes, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow, no seed oils. That tallow's loaded with nutrients for your skin, brain, and hormones, and it makes these chips taste unreal. The tallow means you're satisfied without overeating, which makes it the perfect snack. You need to give Vandy a try, so go to vandycrisps.com/link and use code LINK for 25% off. That's vandycrisp.com/link, code LINK for 25% off your first order. Well, my friends, that concludes this episode of Spot On with Link Lauren. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love reading all of your comments. So be sure and drop comments here on YouTube, on social media. Give us 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify, Apple. And so much of the success of the podcast has come from word of mouth, from people sharing it, texting it to their friends, emailing it to their friends. So thank you so much. We will be back on Wednesday. And between now and Wednesday, of course, I'll be posting on social media. So come follow us on Instagram and TikTok and X and everywhere else, on everything, on Facebook. I don't even know if we're on Facebook, but come follow us. I love you guys. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.